I did when I was first thinking about doing voiceover. Whoa! I thought about how you think about voiceovers, movie trailers, video games, cartoon characters, and you think, boy, that's kind of a glamorous, going to a studio, being directed, making lots of money, fulfilling your creativity, all of that. And some people think the same about radio, and I was on the radio for 30 years, and it's not that glamorous. It's a work, it's something, voiceover and radio and things like that, it isn't something that everybody, it's kind of a niche or niche industry or job, but on the other hand, there's kind of just work.
Yeah.
It's work.
And a lot of behind the scenes stuff that doesn't get noticed. That
there is, yeah. And you found
glamorous,
that out. Yeah. But
and it's kind of nice.
Like
it's kind of nice. Now, I mean, for me, it's nice. I'm kind of a low key person.
Yeah.
As we do a podcast about our life, that's low key, isn't it?
It's really low key.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I guess I was thinking too that sometimes you can look at people, whether they're on TV or radio or a voiceover talent or a singer, actor, actress, and you can think their life is glamorous, but people have the same issues. Like, I've got a really bad back. Because I overdid it trying to play sports at my age.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you overdid it doing voiceovers.
No, although sitting in a chair for long periods of time can kind of hurt you.
You need a standing desk.
And then today we woke up to the fact that we had a whole bunch of water in our basement. So you and Demond, our producer, audio-visual producer, you guys have been doing double time today. You've been doing your voiceover work, you've been doing stuff for me, and then you've also, been vacuuming and shop vacuuming and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that. It's nice to have a couple of young bucks to help us out. See, Demond and Hudson do a lot more than just put together a podcast. That's, I guess, the point.
It's true. We're not lazy.
No. So that's that. Yeah.
That's that. What do we got?
I've got my do this week. We're going to continue do's and don'ts. That seems to be something that people enjoy, and I enjoy sharing some things that I do and I don't do in business and my voiceover career, stuff we talk about all the time. We've got the principal of the new Mazomanie Black Earth, Wisconsin Heights, that's what it really is, elementary school. It's built out between Black Earth and Mazomanie. They've always
they added it onto the high school.
Yeah, they've had a high school and middle school out there for almost 25 years now, and now they have an elementary school, so everybody's under one roof. Yeah, and Scott Moore is the name of the principal, and he'll be here. And what else do we got?
We also have our numbers.
Yep,
I had a decent week this week. It's fun. Had a first, which I'll talk about in our numbers section. I had a first.
Okay.
So
yeah.
There you go.
I'm with you on
and
that.
then we've got our couch potatoes. I don't know. Obviously, John's home from Michigan. Drew will be here with some facts, holidays, whatever it is, and we're gonna try to get up to that level that we had last episode.
Yeah.
So
it's nothing you can plan because it's spontaneous, spontaneity. It's just us being creative.
Not everybody is as creative as us and can just think off of the top of their heads. Like we're at the top of the game.
Improv is what the name of the game is for us. We're just improvisation. We just write, boom.
Yeah.
Whose line is it anyway type.
That's true. And we're close.
Yeah. So that's all we got, I think.
All right, let's get into it.
Hey, this is Bill DeWees, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast, where father and son talk about all things voiceover and, once again, a little bit more. Today we've got Todd's tips, do's and don'ts. We've got special guest Scott Moore, principal of the new Wisconsin Heights Elementary School. Got our numbers. We've got our fun segment.
Time, yeah.
So that's what we've got for our 22nd episode. So why don't what we do, like we always do, take it away.
Jump
for some
into
Todd's
the
tips.
Todd's tips
Jump
and
right
do's
in.
and don'ts. Today I'm going to share a do, and before I always do this, I promised right at the beginning, 7 or 8 episodes ago, that we were going to have Demand put this list of caveats. It's my age, it's my background, it's kind of how I function as an individual, how I function as a business person, and what I'm saying by you reading these things is you do your business your way, I'll do my business my way. However, I share these because there's quite a bit of crossover. There's quite a bit of application. I mean, typically, it doesn't matter who's speaking. You can learn something from somebody.
Sure.
And so there's probably some things here that I share that would be helpful for you. If you say, no, by these lists of caveats, this particular one just rules me out, that's fine. That's fine.
You are saying that there are some things that other people can't control. Like I can't be 62 right now.
Correct.
I'm 26. And so those are things that are different. Don't get hung up on those things but there are some things that you probably should do that everybody should do. Does that make sense? That you do, that I should do, even though there are differences, there are things we should have at the core level that are similar.
Yeah, and I took a lot of advice early on from our friend and now our client with VO Marketing Pro, the voice of our podcast, Bill DeWees. He's an instructor, a VO coach, a career
Number
coach.
one rated.
Trusted coach for voices.com this last year. And I took a lot of advice from Bill, but I think one of the things that has helped me be successful is I'm able to take some advice, and this is something that I know you can do too, is to take that advice and to be able to apply it to your particular situation. And so many things, as I said, are supra person, supra background, supra whatever. So here's one that I think is, and that is I do plodding. Plodding. Not plotting.
Okay.
Plodding.
Not plotting out some
Plodding. Plodding.
some crops.
Here, let me give you some background. Merriam-Webster defines plod as to work laboriously and monotonously to proceed slowly or tediously. That's, I think, how I've built my business, how I work day in and day out. I plod. Doesn't sound very fun or exciting, does it? But that's what I do. And that's what I've done. I do it all the time. I plod. Now, I do a lot of non-glamorous, non-romanticized business things day in and day out all the time. That's, I think, what it means to be in business.
Plotter.
Yeah. And it's not always fun. It's not always exciting. It doesn't always make me feel fulfilled or creative or even happy. But I do it anyway. I have a business plan that works, and so I work that business plan. And I plod. Now, if someone were to ask me, Todd, what's the secret sauce to your success? Kind of what's behind the scene? Give us a little insight. You've got to have some secret ingredients that allow you to make money or to allow you to stay in business for all these years when a lot of businesses go out of business in the first year to 5. My first thought wouldn't be a quiet space or my pro equipment or years of experience or a huge database, marketing database, or even customer service, as important as all those things are. It would be that I plod. I plod. Now, as I said before, you do you. Some people have a business plan that really focuses on sprints and spurts and being creative and fulfilled. I'll watch videos sometimes of people that do character voices and different things like that. And I know there's a plodding side to their life too. I know it is. But on the other hand, it looks glamorous and it looks romantic, if you will. But for me, I'm happy when that happens. when I'm fulfilled and creative and I can use those types of things, but I don't need those types of things because I think I'm a plodder. I just plod along day in and day out. And
you know it works.
I know it
'cause it's
works.
obvious.
It fits my personality. And I think it is a supracultural business principle. Even though when you go to business school, you wouldn't have anybody say, you need to be a plodder. I really think it is something that day in and day out, you get up, you get a good plan, and then you work that plan day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. And there's going to be some ups and downs. But again, like this, it's more like this. And so that's my very short, but I think important thing that if you want to be successful in anything, but especially in business, you have to make a decision. Am I going to plod along, be a plodder? So there you go.
There you have it.
Short
Those
and
are-
sweet and hard to beat.
Yeah, Todd's tips. Thanks for those.
John's back from Michigan.
Yep.
Back from Michigan. He's repping the U of M.
Go blue.
The maize and blue.
Yeah.
They say the maize and blue.
I'm not, it's kind of like you guys talked about in the last podcast. I listened to that part with Jeff, our friend Jeff next door. And I was more of a hardcore kind of Michigan sports team, but I've kind of come around. Would say I'm probably more of a Wisconsin fan now, but we get hats.
Do you think
Hats and stuff because we go over there for out to Michigan, and we've got cousins that are Michigan fans
Yeah.
and things like that. So
you're more Wisconsin.
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 But your traffic jam wasn't too bad. We had you on the podcast via phone.
It was probably the worst few moments of the traffic jam that we had the whole trip. But
Right,
that's
when we
kind
called, of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But it's really typical around that. What is it? Like exit for going down south to St. Louis.
Might be 55, Highway
and,
55, yeah.
and 80 or 55 and
It just everything converges right there,
yep.
and it's the northwest suburbs, and then south to St. Louis, and
Yeah.
Chicago's a problem anyway. I mean, busy wise, but then when everybody's trying to get to one, like 2 or 3 turnoffs there in a
Yep.
half a mile segment, it's almost always like that when we
right
travel.
there, and it doesn't seem like it's necessarily a stalled vehicle or like a pulled over or an accident like that. It's just so many cars coming in to that one spot at a time. It's just is what
Yeah.
it is. So.
You guys had a good trip, though.
Yeah.
That was fun, and you
Yeah.
got to see Becky's folks are still living, and her 3 sisters live over there. Lots of in-laws, nieces, nephews, grand nieces and nephews, all sorts of them. Got to go fishing.
Yep,
You didn't fish, did you?
I did a little bit, not much. I didn't catch anything. It was one of those old school.
Caught a good time.
Yeah, I did. It was one of those old school button.
Sorry.
No.
It was one of those button release things, which I haven't used much. They're kind of the old school ones.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so, Uncle Brian,
Yeah.
Mom's
Dad's best friend in,
Dad's
in
best
college.
brother-in-law,
and
yep,
brother-in-law.
brother-in-law, yep.
brother-in-law, married to one Mom's young sister right underneath her. He was showing me how to do it, but I had a short window of figuring it out, and by the end I figured it out, but I had not caught, and I didn't have enough time to have the hook in the water or the fish or I had a worm on there.
Did you put the worm on by yourself? Or
I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm used to those ones that where you just the string and you kind of flop the
Open bail.
Open bail.
Like a spinning reel. Yep.
just throw it out there. So anyway,
Yeah, I used one just the other day when I was fishing with Jake on the river, and I had to think about it because it's like, do you push the button first and then throw, or do you throw and push at the same time? Because I have bait casting ones which are kind of like a push button. They're a little bit different, but then I also have the spinning where you grab it with your finger, you flip it over, and you let go with your finger. So anyway,
Uncle Brian, we went fishing a few times. I do not like fishing that much, as we talk about all the time on the podcast, because Hud likes fishing a lot and is good at it. I do. But Uncle Head, we would go fishing, and he would bait his hook, and the worm guts and the dirt, and then he would dip his hand over the side and wash it off, and then grab like a piece of chicken and eat it. It's like, I didn't want to eat anything. In fact, I washed my hands several times. I'm kind of a neat freak.
Yeah.
Kind of.
well, we
not such
really
an outdoorsman.
like dogs and people love their cats and things like that, and some people let them, you see on videos, they
Lick their fingers or their
fingers,
face,
and
yeah.
they think that they actually have the same germs, but it's kind of like that where I like dogs, but you start to, it's kind of that same realm.
Yeah.
don't really want
You
to
don't
be
know what they've been chewing on
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, let's
Yeah,
do
let's
our
get to the
numbers.
numbers.
That's a great segue.
Yeah, silky.
Perfect. Yep.
Well, what we do is let's start out with John, so then we can get to my interesting.
Huge week.
So today is
Sort of.
Thursday. We
It
usually
is.
do it
Yeah,
on
that's
Friday.
right.
Yeah,
we forgot to
good
mention
point.
that.
Yeah.
It is Thursday.
But Drew and Hudson, we're speaking of fishing.
Speaking.
They are going on a camping trip, and Drew, not so much the outdoorsman, but he's doing it with a friend from the baseball team, the Mustangs, as we've talked about. If you guys listen to the fun part of our podcasts,
Yep.
and so they're going camping along in Iowa. Iowa's not too
It's
far
by
away
the
from
Turkey
here.
River, which it'll be like, I think it's about 2 hours.
Northwest Iowa.
2 hours
Yep.
away.
Decorah, I think, not far from Decorah.
I like fishing. I like kayaking. I like camping. Drew doesn't so much.
Well, he
but
likes
he's,
kind of everything, but which most of us do is like everything.
Sleeping.
The fire, but
Uh-huh.
the sleeping part is just
Yeah.
kind of like tough.
I have a cot for him.
Okay.
So
Well, that'll be
and
nice.
it's nicer. It's like a camping cot.
Okay.
It's nicer than the cots. He said to me, it's gonna be a real small cot. So I was like, it's bigger than you think. So I'm gonna sleep on the floor, on the ground, because I don't mind. So anyway,
So they're going to be gone. So that's why we're doing this on Thursday.
Yeah.
We usually do our check-in on Thursdays. And so
Yeah.
we did that, but we sometimes get some people that don't report until
Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon or Thursday evening.
Yeah,
So
sure.
these numbers are a little bit,
So watch
Whatever,
VOMP's
but yeah.
Facebook page
yeah,
for updates that
Yeah,
might
right.
come in
We do
tomorrow,
update
because they
those.
always post who gets jobs, stuff like that.
auditions.
So,
Yep.
and it's,
So anyway, with the numbers that we have since as of Thursday early afternoon, we had 36 warm responses, 7 auditions, and currently 4 jobs reported. And that again, it is the ladies. It is Lauren Gobus. She actually signed or is doing a book, an audio book.
Audio book, yeah.
nice.
Yep. And then Lanessa Tremblett,
2.
Kimberly Young, and Jennifer Keister.
Wow.
And that's Kimberly's first. It might be
Correct.
Lanessa's too, first job with us, or did she
Maybe.
get something else?
Maybe she's been with us for a while. I can't remember.
I don't
Off
recall.
the top of my head,
I thought Todd Haskell had a job, or was that just some auditions?
I think
may have
it was an audition. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I
Okay.
saw that.
And Bill got an audition, and a few
Yep.
others, obviously, because you had 7 auditions.
Yes. Yep. A couple more. Yep.
Okay.
And we're waiting on those. So yeah, it's been a busy afternoon getting some things going. So
And I had a job
okay.
this week, but I think you guys posted it back when they got a hold of
Yes.
me. It was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they set up a session, which I'll talk
Because they
about.
basically confirmed that you got the job along with a couple other people in our group, and it took a little bit longer because they wanted to do a live session, which you're going to talk about.
Oh, I'm going to talk about.
But
No, that's not your. Go ahead. Sorry.
But we posted it upon the hearing about them kind of doing the job. So some of them haven't
So it
got
was posted already, but I did it this week.
and that's not your first live.
That's not.
one, but there are some firsts in it, right?
There are. So I'll go over mine, and then I'll unpackage that for you
nice.
guys, since I'm a great storyteller. I had 9 warm responses this week. I had a new client, which it's supposed to be. That's the session I did. That's the one new client. It's in the $300 range. I don't know exactly. I'd have to look back. So I just put down $300. Could be more. Could be less. Anyway,
Well, it's not going to be less than 300,
No,
probably.
it shouldn't be,
Because
no.
weren't they doing it by the hour, and you were on there a little over 3 hours? You're
hours,
just
yep.
wondering if they're going to give you an extra $100 for the 4th hour.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So-
yeah.
Anyway, so then, so I'll talk about that a little bit. So it was a first for me. The other 2 sessions that I've done with clients have been about a half hour. And so that was very different. I mean, it was a full 3 hours and a little bit. And it was a video game. So I was a video game character. And I've never done that before. So the guys on there were really nice to talk to, and they, ran me through it and what they wanted and stuff like that. So we went through it, and never been a part of a video game, never done that before. And I'll admit I was a little bit nervous right away, because the voiceover stuff that I normally do is you have to get into character, obviously, but This was a little bit different character. This was doing some hi-yahs and battle cries and all sorts of different things. So probably about halfway through, I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to lose all my inhibitions. I'm just going to go for it. And so that's just doing that was kind of nice. Gets you exposed to that, and it was fun. It was fun to do it, and they were, like I said, they were real great to do it with. So anyway, that was my first.
It was a Source Connect.
Source
and
Connect,
you used
yeah.
my studio because
I
I
sure
have
did.
Source Connect, and so you were down there for 3 hours, which it worked out just fine because I wasn't too busy. But you're a type of a person that around the house, you're singing and doing character voices and different things like that. But it's just harder when you have directors there and you're trying to do something that's kind of new.
Yeah, it is. So I just decided that I was going to do that. So anyway, I did get 2 jobs this week. So that was one of them. That was a new client. And then I got a job from a client I've been working with for $100. Had a job on Fiverr for $60. And then I had some revisions from another client that's done revisions 2 or 3 times. They've come back and said, well, sorry about this, but the client wants more revision. I'm like, hey, you know what? If you pay me for it, keep
cares?
keep bringing them. So anyway, I did a grand total of $640 this week.
Good for you.
So $640.
In my mind, I keep thinking, I keep having a figure in my mind for Hudson, and that's $100 a day. If I can just see him make $100 a day. I know that's not, it's $25,000 a year, a little bit more, but that's a good shooting point for this year. And I know you'd like to make more, but you will as you continue to plod along.
Oh, and I also have the opportunity for another job. I don't know exactly what the price will be, but he asked me for a sample, and I got it off within 5 minutes, and he said, this is perfect. I'll let you know what the client says.
Nice.
So that's out there too. So more to come.
Yeah. I had a few warm replies. One came in today, and it was the guy liked my voice and said, I'd really like to work with you on this. It's a 2-minute video. And I sent him some information back a few minutes later. He's from Spain, and that would be my first client from Spain. Now, I might have clients from Spain on Fiverr.
Sure, but
But
direct email.
I'm talking about direct email marketing. So that'd be kind of fun. And so my platforms weren't huge again, but it's Thursday. I'm about right on track. I try to make about $6,000 a week. Platforms, $947. So, Johnny, we're down a little bit.
Yeah.
Fiverr. But that's the way it is right now. Direct email marketing, $3,853.50 for a grand total of $4,800.50. $4,800.50 on a Thursday. So if I can make $1,200 tomorrow, I'll be right at $6,000.
Or the rest of the day.
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
You still
that's
got
right.
some
I do have a
time.
couple of jobs that I have to do. I don't know what the prices are exactly, but yeah, that's all I've got.
Anything else? Any words of encouragement? Any
Just
advice?
glad to have Johnny back on the couch, and we're gonna do the fun part a little bit later on in the
When
weekend.
Drew and I get back. Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing more action for different people, and that's great to see. Different types of people in our group on VOMP. Joe's been busy with different things, and a lot of
And
warm
he sent out
response.
a ton of emails.
Yes, I won't get
1,200.
over 12. Yeah, around 1,200 emails again this week, and we're just going to keep on.
That's
like we've said, beating the bushes, if you will, for getting our roster up and going more and more. To hopefully be for some of these production companies, have them be the one-stop shop for us, because we have great talent down there.
Yes, we do.
And also, just like I said, we're getting more warm responses, more audition opportunities, and it's not just the people that are paying more per month because we have different programs and things like that, but especially those that are sticking with us. And I say that all the time, but it's just good to see that the long haul is working for those people, and it's also working for those who long haul and maybe aren't paying as much. And so we like to see success no matter what they're paying, but we're busy with those things and working hard to get work for you all. So
I was just going to mention one thing that I did this week that you mentioned to me about doing with my direct email marketing is I'm sending out emails regularly to the database, but it had been a little while since I had gotten a hold of my warm responses. So I took the list that I have that I've accrued over the last year and a half, And I decided to kind of give them just an update, ask them if they had my latest demos, got in front of them again. And if they hadn't, that I could send them a downloadable WAV or MP3 format. So I sent out to half of them. I'll probably wait another 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, and then get in front of the other half.
Any replies?
I have gotten a couple replies, maybe 7 or 8 out of the 130 that I sent out.
It's not bad.
But they weren't jobs. They just
No,
were,
but that's stay on their
thanks,
radar.
we're keeping you in mind, and we'll be sure to get a hold of you. So
To piggyback off that, what time?
you're good.
We're good.
Keep going.
I'll just say that I did that for one of the people that I work with in our personal assistant program. I just went through kind of each email response back that we've received a warm reply, and in the past few months, and just kind of sent a more specific email for each of those people that there was one that mentioned that they had a job coming up, and to let them know, or to kind of follow back up with them. And I did that. And so they said, well, it's been pushed back. The job's been pushed back to like October or something like that. And so I just let the person that I'm working with know that I put a calendar reminder on my own to then get a hold of that person the beginning of October, because the person suggested following up again in October. And I guess, like Hudson said, is maybe just for those that are in our group, we handle warm responses for some people, but those who we don't, go through those, and you might feel like you're being a nag, but you aren't, because they forget.
Yeah, exactly.
But especially the ones that maybe had something in the works. So that was a very maybe a hotter lead.
Yep, exactly. That's what I did, and I think that's it's just a good practice to get in, and that helps keep top of mind, because they just forget, or they forget. Yeah. They kind of remembered, but they don't remember exactly who that person was. And
it's good to get in front again, because there are people out there that aren't part of VOMP that are doing direct email marketing.
Yep.
So if, let's say, that person hit them right at the right time, they might be so busy that they forgot about you. Well, then that person gets it.
Yep.
So you'd rather be a nag and get the job in one sense, or think you're a nag and get the job, than sit on the sidelines and think, I don't know if I should. Has it been exactly 3 months?
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I tell you, so much of it has to do with if you want to work and if you want to be in business, you don't want to bug people. I understand that. But you don't want to be bashful. I'll use 3 Bs. You don't want to bug people, but you certainly don't want to be bashful. You need to be bold, because most of us don't. Most of us think we're going to bug people, and so we err to the. And I'm like that too. I err to the side of being bashful.
Sure.
But what I need to be is bold. And I was desperate. I wanted this to work back 10, 12 years ago when I started out, and I didn't really care. I told you that story, that some people they would have hired me just 2 weeks before for a 4-minute video or something. I'd get right back with them. Hey, Paul, you have anything more for me? Anything coming up? I'd do that. I might have erred on the side of bugging them, but I just had a few clients that I needed to get work from, and so they'd say, well, I might have something, or I guess I can send something your way. It's just like, again, I don't want to bug people, but I think we have a tendency, because of who we are, we don't want to bug people, so we err toward being bashful, and what we need to err is toward being bold, and that's what you guys are saying you did for your one personal assistant, and you did, and kudos to that. I think that people should do that.
All right, there's our numbers for this week. We've got Scott Moore as our local interview. He was here this last week, I should say.
School's ready to start.
The brand new elementary school for Wisconsin Heights, and he is the principal. So join us for that on our upcoming local interview.
Hey guys, this is Joe from VO Marketing Pro checking in. You are watching the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
All right, well, welcome to the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast. Dad's there, I'm here, Joe's here for a change, and we've also got Scott Moore. So he is our special guest this week.
On the couch.
On the couch. He's a couch potato. That's what we call the people who sit there. Finally.
And Joe is here for the first time in an interview.
Yes.
And we'll get to why you're here in just a couple of minutes. But we want to get to know Scott just a little bit. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. One of the things I was going to do, and I forgot, you're repping Wisconsin Heights, and we'll get to that, and you're repping Wisconsin Heights. I was going to have gear on, and then I forgot. Oh, well.
So did I. So we'll be.
You guys are the two employees of Wisconsin Heights. So, tell me, Scott, a little bit about, we're going to talk a little bit about your personal life, go to professional life, talk about something exciting that's happening in the district, not only school starting, but also something big, which most people know about. So tell us, where did you grow up? Where were you born or grow up? Are you from Wisconsin originally?
I am.
You
Yep.
are, okay.
So I was born in Hudson, which is on the west, right on the border of Minnesota.
Yeah.
So that's where I was. And in 6th grade, we moved to a small town, Osceola, which is north of Hudson. And that's where I was through high school. And then, college, went to UW Stout in Menominee. And then taught in Amory for 11 years. Amory's a small town kind of by Osceola. And then, through a series of events, I'm here today. So, but grew up in...
Is Hudson, if I'm remembering this right, because our oldest son, John, went to school at Northwestern University in St. Paul. Mm-hmm. Is Hudson the last city in Wisconsin before the Mississippi?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a nice size village. I mean, it's bigger than I thought. I don't know how big it is, but...
Yeah, no, it's grown even since I was there.
Okay.
I mean, that was not all developed off of the highway. So it's changed a lot.
I don't want to get out too far off, but you mentioned Amory, right? Mm-hmm. They were like a long time ago in the state tournament basketball.
Okay.
And I think there was a big player that ended up going to the UW. His name, I think, was Al Rudd. Does that at all ring a bell?
It doesn't.
Not at all. I mean, it's ancient history, so it's
possible.
like my time. So tell us a little bit about, family life, siblings. Do you have siblings? The only child?
Yeah. So, it could get involved, but I'll kind of shorthand it for you. So I have a sister, a biological sister, who's older than I am. And then we have a blended family now. And then I have then an additional sister and 2 brothers as a result. So there's, 5 of us all together. I'm right there in the middle, so that's...
You went from a kind of a small family to what's considered a larger family at this point. You're right in the middle, you say, so you've got, is your biological sister older or younger?
She is older than me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And they all live all over the place. I have a sister who lives in Minneapolis, and then I guess one who lives in Stillwater, which is the next, if you're in Hudson River, and then Stillwater's right there too. So, and then 2 siblings that are in the same town as my parents reside now. So, and then us down here.
Now, when you were in like grade school, middle school, high school, were you athletic? Were you academic? Were you music, sports? Were you kind of into motors and farming or things like that? What was your, or were you just all around,
So to majority of that, no, I wasn't athletic at all. I tried to be, but it just, and it's okay. But no, that wasn't my forte. Mm-hmm. I didn't really care about school, honestly. I was more just there because it was fun to be around people, and I have played musical instruments and things, but that didn't happen until later on in middle school and into high school. But so then I found my group there, music, drama type of stuff. But no, I don't know, Joe, probably know this. I'm probably the least competitive person. Yeah, I really don't. So athletics didn't matter to me because I was like, oh, we lost. Yeah. That's fine. Whatever. Yeah. So that didn't mesh well with me, but
it's more the people, right?
Yes, the experience is what I was there for. So. Mm-hmm.
Well, we can talk more professionally about some things, but I was thinking about if you didn't care for school and here you're a school administrator, that would be an interesting conversation. Do you find that, and we'll come back to your personal life, but I just wanted to highlight that for a second because it hit me. do you find that kind of helps you because there was a time in your life where you didn't really care about school?
Absolutely.
And you probably find maybe a fair amount of kids that don't care about school. Is that true?
Yep, very true.
And does that
at
help you
Heights?
relate to them? Does it help you get into their minds so that you can help them know how to function and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it gives me a perspective of, I get it. School is not always fun. It's difficult at times. It's, so I try and approach it as, I just want to make it not bearable. That's not right. But I want to make it so they know, like, you're only in elementary school right now. There's opportunities for you as you get older. You can find things that you like. You want to be, you want to do more mechanical stuff. There's a place for that. It's just not now, but you'll get there, and just make it so they know this isn't, like I say, it's hard now. It's going to be okay. We try and make it fun. We try and make it engaging. We try to do all those things we can. But yeah, I look at it from that. I remember being that kid of, God, I sit here and I have to listen. I have to do these things. So from that, I try and emphasize that as much as we can.
Yeah.
Because it's important to mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah, because some teachers are just, I think they're locked in because they were such good students. I had teachers like that, and you kind of need that. But on the other hand, it's kind of nice to have somebody that has that other perspective that's able to kind of bring that, if you will, balance into it and perspective. You guys jump in if you, I can keep going with questions. Cause
like we've talked about, school was a necessary evil to play sports for us.
Yeah.
So it was like,
Well, not for me necessarily, but I'm just saying.
yeah,
for
well,
guys it was.
you were better at school than I was.
Yeah.
But I just didn't, I wasn't there. I was there for the people to enjoy friends and stuff like that, but also so I could play sports because it was student athlete. And I was hoping it'd be the other way around, athlete, student, and just anyway. So that's just.
But in the end, you still learned how to read and write, sort of.
Barely.
And,
Yeah. I'm a meathead for sure. That's my nickname. So it's fair.
It's all right.
It's like I could see that.
Just embrace it.
Yeah.
So now, as you mentioned, where'd you go to college?
UW Stout, which is in Menominee.
Okay, so you kind of stayed fairly close to the area, right?
Yeah, so I guess I did go to UW Platteville for 8 days. And then I was like, I wasn't ready to do that, to be on my own and have to like,
Function.
well, yeah, right. It sounds funny, but honestly, it was like I was there, I did the whole thing, and I just was like, I can't do this right now. So I went back to work at a industrial wire and cable factory for a semester, just so I could figure out what made sense. And I went into my declared major at Platteville was like criminal justice, only because I come from a long line of police officers, and
You
so
do? Okay.
I felt that was what I should do. And so it didn't work out that way, which is okay. But and then working third shift with people who have been there for 35 years, I was like, no way, I can't. So then explored other options, and here we are.
But how did you? What happened in your mind that you went from a guy that didn't like school to now I'm going to be on a school schedule for a long time, maybe the rest of my adult life until I retire. I'm going to be on a school schedule and I'm going to be in school, and that seems like a kind of a switch. Was it kind of a major like epiphany kind of thing, or what was it? Just no, I'm starting to like school, and I did you right away declare that you wanted to be a school administrator, or just get into education, or what?
Yeah, I mean, so there isn't a definite like time where I thought, okay, now I should do this seriously for school. But I think I was a junior, midway through my junior year, and we were starting to apply for. Was at the end. We started applying for colleges, I believe, and all that, and I just thought, what do you mean this is gonna matter? I knew it did. I just didn't, and it was coming up faster than I thought. So I just figured I should probably apply myself and start to care a little bit, and I did okay. I mean, enough to get admitted into a school, which was what you needed. And then when I got to Stout, my major was early childhood education. I have a cousin who's a teacher, and so while I was working after I left Platteville, I went into her room to help volunteer, do some things, and was like, well, this is something I could see myself doing. So that's how it started there for me. And then I finished school in 3.5 years, because once I knew I wanted to do this. I took as many credits as possible, and then joined the honors program at Stout, which is funny, just knowing that I didn't care, and now I'm like really caring about it.
Yeah.
And I was able to, get classes before master's level students just because being in that program, so you can really maximize your time. And so I was able to get out in 3.5 years, which nowadays is pretty unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once I was there and knew what I wanted, I was just driven to do that.
For the last, 4 years, is it? Or 3 years that you've been the principal at Black Earth Elementary?
So 4
years.
Going on 5. This was my 5th year.
Okay, so this is the start of your 5th year.
Yep.
And that was your title. You were the principal of Black Earth Elementary. But now there's a new elementary school.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that in a second. How did you get from college to Wisconsin Heights?
So,
Go ahead.
Yeah, so college, because I did it in such a short amount of time, 3.5 years, I graduated in December, which is a bad time to graduate with your teaching degree because no one's really hiring anybody.
No.
So subbed for a while, for a semester, and then just kind of job hunted and ended
Where'd you
up,
sub?
What did I sub?
Where did you sub?
Mostly schools around where I lived.
Okay.
In Osceola. Yeah, it was Osceola still. I had to think about that one night. But then, so just did a variety of things. I didn't do high school, not interested in that. I did middle school a couple times, not interested in that. But yeah, and then, I landed a job kind of last minute, honestly, because what they told me is that because I was a male in early childhood, I would be very highly sought after. The liars. It certainly was not the case, which is fine. But it was funny. I was driving home one day and I got a call from a school, and it was like August 22nd or something like that. And she's like, "We had a student enroll. We have to make another section of this school. Like, I want to talk to you." And so I did. And I got it that Friday afternoon, worked. We had new teacher and services that following Monday. So I had about a weekend to figure out how I was going to do that. Not ideal, but it is what it is. And then like I said, I was there teaching kindergarten for 11 years.
Wow.
And just kind of in that time, you start to think, okay, I could do this long term, but I also kind of like this other part. I like the organizing things. I like that other element of education. So then enrolled in a program through Viterbo, and it was more of a kind of weekend. You go on the weekends basically, and during the week you do assignments and all that. So I did that for 2 years, and then there wasn't, in Wisconsin at the time, you had to be experienced before somebody would hire you to be a principal. And it's hard to get experience if no one's going to give it to you, right? It's kind of a tricky thing. So I had a friend who was with me in my principal program, and he had moved out to remote rural Nevada, and he called me up and said, "Are you still looking for a position? Because there's one out here for you if you want it." And I was like, okay, we'll see. So I talked to my wife, and our child was 2 at the time. So
You talked with Lily too about it?
yeah, Lily, she didn't care much.
Okay.
But so, and we both understood in order to kind of get where we wanted, we had to do this temporarily. So then, we moved out. I moved out there, and it was the strangest place I've ever been in my life. The place I lived first, it's in between Las Vegas and Reno. So it's a place where people stop and basically fill up their gas tanks, get food, and then continue on their way. My favorite story of it is, just to put in context, like how far things were away. The county itself is Nye County, which is tens of thousands of square miles. And so the district office was 2.5 hours away from me. So like if I needed to go for a meeting, we had to go down the night before and stay in.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing.
Pack your bags and everything.
Yep. And that's where we grocery shopped because we didn't have that with us. But my favorite part is going out of town. there's a sign that says, McDonald's just ahead in Hawthorne. And what they don't tell you is Hawthorne is 99 miles away.
Oh,
So like if we wanted to, it made me appreciate even being here, where if you need something more than, it's not that far away.
Yeah.
So,
You just buy in bulk then when you went?
yeah,
did.
exactly. I was gonna say, are they like Sam's Club or something around
but
there?
like I had to go to the dentist, and I had to go to California because that was the nearest dentist. So you had to go up over the mountains, and
Wow.
yeah, it's crazy. So that was 1 year, and then I was like, I can't live here. And the district's so big, there's another position open closer to, in the same town as where the district office was, and it was about an hour away from Las Vegas. So, and that's fine. I never wanted to live there, but a lot more to offer. But just knew that wasn't where I wanted to be. I mean, education in Wisconsin is it's valued higher than in other states where, I mean, people don't really care. Not that they don't care, that's not the right word, but they just don't, it's not an emphasis for people. They don't see the value of it that the state does. So that's a good thing. And then, as luck should have it, I interviewed for this position, and I remember I was on an airplane, because at that time, if we had to go to a meeting from where we were, if it were in Reno, it's about a 7-hour drive. So it was easier to go down to Las Vegas to hop on a plane to get to. So
Yeah.
a lot of unnecessary travel. But I remember sitting on the plane and my phone rang, and it was Jordan Sins, who's our administrator. And I couldn't hear what he was saying. So I was like, I can't hear you. Like, I'll call you when I land. And it was just a funny thing. But I had a Zoom interview or a Skype interview, whatever it was that we used back then. And I was in some lady's office in Las Vegas because we were at a meeting at a school. And I just said, hey, I have to use your office. And so he was sitting in a classroom, and there was a bunch of teachers. I don't know who was there because I could only see him. But got through that interview, and then the second one I came down, and that was with the school board, and then wowed them, I guess. No, no, it was a good fit actually. It was a fun group. It didn't feel like an interview. It was more of a, a conversation
Fun
basically
meeting.
about stuff. And so I also had an interview in Darlington that same night. I didn't end up there.
Yeah.
Did you just not even show up? Cause you just
I
felt-
showed up.
Okay.
I showed up, but I knew I didn't want to do that just because this one went so well. That so
Thought maybe you try to leverage
I mean
that you had. Well, Wisconsin Heights is looking at me, so
yeah. So what
if you don't give me more money, then
I didn't even think about that. Man,
Maybe try it again.
Jeez.
Manager.
Where were you then,
Manager right there.
Yeah. it's
So,
good. It's good.
so Scott, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but as a forever resident here, you're part of a kind of historical evolution that's happening this fall, because up until the mid 60s, there was always a high school in Mazo and Black Earth. I went to the mid 60s, early 70s, kindergarten through 8th grade in the Mazo building, and then they had kindergarten through 8th grade in Black Earth. Then they built the middle school out there, and they had middle school and high school out there. These guys went kindergarten basically to 5th grade. Then over the last, I don't know how many years, there's been K through 2 at Black Earth and 3 through 5 at Mazo. Now everybody's going to be out in one location for the first time in 150 years.
Yeah.
And so you are the principal of
You're the
the
unifier.
new elementary, Wisconsin Heights Elementary School.
oh, that's weird. That's just weird to hear that.
Because it
said
used to
that
be
way.
Mazo High School and at Mazo K through 12, Black Earth K through 12, Mazo K through 8. I won't go through it all.
You're right.
And so now all of a sudden, you're part of this 150-year history as the first. Did you know that? I mean, is that all?
yeah.
That hasn't lost on you?
No,
Okay.
It's become very clear. I mean, just in this last year, honestly, because we've had closing ceremonies, we've had all these things, and I didn't realize all of that until this year. But it's clear people are very prideful of of that history.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, it's a weird position to be in because I don't want to mess it up, but yet it'll be fine. I won't mess it up. I'm just, you know what I mean? Though? Like it's,
Yeah.
I don't want to be the person that just all this history and now it's just gone. But no, it's wild. Just
Aren't you probably trying to find the happy medium between we've got to move on, but there's also history in the past. So
Yeah.
how much of it do you collect, and how much of it do you just kind of say we need to kind of keep going?
yeah, it's
more-
tricky. It's
yeah.
very tricky.
But yet you're an outsider, so it's like, is this important or is this not important? And
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that, and but you know, we had a lot of people come through our closing ceremony, for example, that were very much. They kind of identified some things that they thought we should give to the historical society. So fantastic, we were able to do that. So, and we'll take over some things to the new school, just to have as kind of artifacts of what we used to have, because to these kids that are coming up, it's kind of funny to think that it won't matter to them one
Right.
bit. It's
Right.
this
Yeah.
is just where they've always been.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, if you talk to some of the old timers, they'll be able to say, I was the first graduating class of Wisconsin Heights. I was the first, kindergarten was my first year that Wisconsin Heights was a district.
Really.
And I was 2 years away from going to a one-room schoolhouse out in Halfway Prairie. So you can see that there's kind of an evolution here. And so people get connected. Both villages are connected to their schools, and so whatever. I think it might actually be good that we have somebody that's not connected to one school or the other.
Because there used to be quite the rivalry between
Oh, yeah.
Mazo and Black Earth
Yeah.
when they had their own high schools and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
like you said, there's going to be a generation here soon where they've been at Heights Elementary, and that's never been. It's kind of been not so much with like us anymore, but like for you and stuff, there was Black Earth versus Mazo, and
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, it was a big
You
deal.
went to school together, and it was like, well, we beat up on each other in elementary school and stuff. So anyway,
We'll have none of that.
Tell us about like your role. I mean, now all of a sudden you're going to have a little bit more of an expanded role. You're going to have 3 more grades.
Yep.
And maybe we can talk about some of the benefits of. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about the drawbacks.
Yep.
We'll leave those go, but talk about the benefits of having everybody under one roof.
Sure. I mean, from a teacher standpoint, it's helpful because, you know, for a while we had shared staff. So art, music, Phy-Ed, guidance counselor, for a while, Dale Green. I mean, he was doing both. You know, you start your day, half of it's here, then you got to transition, half of it's over here. While it's not a huge deal, I mean, logistically can be kind of a pain, I suppose, but having those folks there all day will be helpful for scheduling. It'll be helpful for some supervisory stuff if we need. But, you know, honestly, the biggest benefit to me, and I tell people that all the time, I'm excited mostly about the fact that, you know, if we have kids at elementary who are struggling with whatever, you know, is there somebody at the middle high school who we can buddy them up with? Because many times, like, we can tell them as much as we want as teachers and adults and staff members, but if an older kid, high schooler, tells them something and they can make a relationship and they can, you know, look up to this person, perhaps that's a bigger impact than we could ever provide. So I'm honestly excited about that there's peer mentorship opportunities here that we just didn't have before because it logistically didn't work out. So to me, that's huge. You know, we're just through a set of doors. There's more to it than that. I don't want to scare people to think that elementary kids are going to be dashing around the high school, but it can be as simple as that.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the biggest. I just can't even wait for that. Curriculum wise, I mean, if we have kids who are kind of advanced in a topic, like why can't they go and learn some more from this grade and all that too? I mean, there's benefits in there too.
Yeah.
instead of having to ship them over to Mazo or Black Earth or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if there's a third grader who's like math whiz, you know, well, why don't you sit in fourth grade math and see if that's, you know, if that's where you're at, then we can provide that for you.
Yeah.
So opportunities for there that are very exciting, you know.
I know as a kid I would have benefited a great deal because I was almost genius.
Yeah.
And so I would have gone second grade to like 7th or 8th grade. Kidding, of course.
You would have gone seventh
he
to
couldn't talk.
I
second
would have
grade.
gone
Seventh to second grade. Yeah.
He's being
I thought that's what he was
sarcastic. He
gonna say.
couldn't talk till he was 4 years old.
Yeah.
But that's okay, and I'm sure your first words were just eloquent, sentences.
But on a serious note, back when you were in Nevada, you had to travel 2.5 hours to the district office.
Correct.
Now you just go 100 yards
Yeah,
and you're in the district
It
office.
took me 2 minutes today to walk from the district office to open the door for somebody on the other side of the new building. I was like, this is pretty great.
Yeah.
He arrived.
Yeah. True.
I don't know if there's other benefits we could talk about those. I mean, there's maybe some transportation benefits. You're not going all over here in Yon, but I don't know. What do we got left
We
here?
got about 3 minutes left, but we could stop and we can keep going if you
If
want
you can
to.
stay for just a few more
for
minutes.
sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we can do that. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with Scott. And did we want to talk about how Joe knows him? Because we kind of talked about that, and Joe's just been sitting there.
It's true.
And people have been wondering, why is Joe
Dying
here?
to know.
Why
Why is Joe? Why
I
is
still
Joe
don't know
here?
why Joe's here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go ahead,
How
Joe.
did
Why are you
find
here?
such a cool person to
Yeah,
hang out
sure.
with? So I applied for a part-time job at the school for an educational assistant like 3 years ago, something like that.
It was middle of the year, wasn't it?
Yep. When you guys were almost ready to shut down the school because you just needed somebody so badly.
Yeah. Yep.
So I stepped in.
Joe Schmo came.
Kept the doors open.
Kept the doors open.
Without him,
And
I'm telling you.
yeah. And anyway, so I worked under Scott for 3 years.
He has great stories
What?
too.
I think it was
It
3
can't
years.
have been 3
Well,
years.
it was like 2 years and a half, I think, or something like that.
Probably. I don't even know.
Time flies when you're having
It
fun.
really does.
That's either because it's such a delightful thing or repressed memory syndrome. It's one or the other
No, it
for
was
Joe.
great. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, he has great stories about things that you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
are able to talk about and some fun things. Kids are great at that age.
Oh,
They're
they're
just
fun. They're fun, but
hilarious. Yeah.
There's some drawbacks, but that's
Yeah.
all right.
Man, there's a few.
So you're a teacher's assistant,
Yep.
educational assistant.
Yep.
Is that what it is? Okay.
yes.
Yep.
And it's fun having Joe in the school district because we take walks and it's, hey, Mr. Barsness. And I'll turn around and they're talking to Joe. And they're his little buddies.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So tell us, Scott, as we kind of close this part of the interview out, what's like the toughest thing about being a school principal at your level, and what do you like the best? What are kind of the rewards?
The toughest part, honestly, is truly just keeping up with the day-to-day stuff. Like, I have to make sure everything's covered, which isn't that difficult to do. But if not, well, then I have to reshuffle my deck and where can I help and where, just to keep all that in line. There's teacher evals that have to happen, all these things that just go on throughout the year. Inevitably, there's a bus thing that you have to. So it's just, I try not to schedule my days at all beyond what is essential if I have a meeting or something, but I try to remain as open as I can because, like I said, inevitably something's going to come up. It's getting easier, though, as the years progress. Now let's throw 9 more teachers in the mix. And so it's obviously going to get more, but that's okay. It's just I know going in that, that's been the hardest part, but it's manageable. Just
Lots of moving parts.
It
there
is.
are.
It is. Yeah. You don't think about it, but
Yeah.
there really are.
Yeah.
The opposite of that, the best part is in my role, I enjoy obviously interacting with kids. I try as much as I can to be there, to be outside, to be in the morning just to do those things because, when I was younger, I remember a principal was someone who you didn't really want to see. It was if I had to go see her, it was not great ever, but now it's not. I'm trying to shift that to where, there's going to be problems. We're going to work through it, but that's hopefully not always the first thing people associate now. But so I do try to build relationships with kids from day one. The good news this year, I'm excited because I'll know all the kids minus the preschoolers because they haven't started yet. But, you know, the kids who are now in 5th grade, they were a Black Earth when I started. So I will have at least a vague recollection of who they are because they've been away for a while. But, you know, so that's good. I'm excited about that. I don't have to really learn that many more names. And that's always good. Other part, obviously, watching teachers teach is always fun. I mean, it really is. You know, while they may be teaching the content that's similar, it's the way they do it that's so different. And that's what I like to see. I like to see how, you know, these 1st grade teachers, there's 3 of them, how differently they'll approach a math topic. And that's just, it's the best part, you know, to see how they work through that. And so, yeah, getting to work with kids and teachers is the best part, honestly, for me.
Well, I don't want to embarrass you, but Joe says that the district is lucky to have you as a principal. So we're
He's
glad.
just saying that. But
No, he isn't. I know he isn't.
Actually, Joe Bob did say, he said they're lucky to have us. So I don't know if that's.
there you go. See,
When I
He said us, not just sorry.
That's
So-
not what I said.
No, he didn't say that. I just
2 things when we told people we hired Joe Barsness, they were like, "Who?" And like, as if you lied, right? Like, I went here. People, they had no idea who we were talking about. And then I think Joyce Rulin said, "Oh, Joe Bob," and I was like, "Nope, his name is Joe Bar." Like, so when you said that, it just made me like, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because there's another Joe. There's another Joe Barsness, which I don't know if they would be somebody that you might want to hire,
Well,
at least at that point. or
Maybe,
whatever.
but regardless. And then I remember Joe's first day very well because he was outside at recess, and typically in elementary schools, so recess duty, Joe went out and just started running around. And I remember, you probably don't know this, the kids were it was like a fast conga line of kids and it went on. And I remember the teachers were like, he can't sustain this. There's no way. Like, it just was so funny because that's not how it typically is, having somebody who's just going to lead the charge. So we were very appreciative and still are when you come in and sub occasionally, but because he just jumps in and, you know, kids know him very well, as you said, and they do enjoy it because he'll throw footballs with them. He'll shoot hoops with them, where that usually doesn't happen with the staff that's outside. They're there to supervise, and he's there to have fun and entertain. He's only
wear
hit
him
a
out.
couple-
Gym teacher.
He's there to wear them out.
He's only hit a couple kids with playground balls. So
Yeah.
He's the one teacher that takes it too seriously.
well, he
and
always
hits
comes in and
kids
he's like, "Hey, somebody got hit today with a football, and it's okay. They're fine. But just so you know,
I bring them in. I bring them in with me, and I get them an ice pack.
Supply him a first
Timmy's
aid
out there
kit, a
bleeding.
stretcher.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's not a put on. I mean, that's Joe. I mean, he just likes kids, you know, when he's not at school. We have friends over and they have little kids, you know, that's just where he's at,
Absolutely.
getting games ready and stuff like that. So that's kind of his personality.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's how he is.
Yeah.
My child enjoys Mr. B a ton. So,
Mr. B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. B.
So maybe as we wrap things up here, we do with our guests, would you rather, a couple of them. So I picked out a couple, and do the best you can, Scott. Joe, you can answer. Hudson, I'll answer mine. So we'll give whoever wants to jump in, if you want to take a second to think about it. Would you rather skydive or bungee jump? Would you rather skydive or bungee jump? First question before you even answer that. I know none of you guys have others either dived. Is that right?
Doven?
Doven?
I don't know.
Sky dove.
Doved?
Yep.
I don't know. We need an English. Or bungee jumped. Have you ever done either one?
No.
Okay. If you had your choice, like you were forced, what would you do? Or Joe or Hudson?
You need time to think.
I think I would skydive.
Why? Just tell us why.
I don't know. It just of the two, the idea of being slung back up by your feet doesn't seem that appealing to me.
Bungee jumping, you typically do alone, where I think skydiving, you can have an assistant.
Didn't think about that. That's a good point.
That's what I was going to ask if that's
That assistant has like 5 different
pull cords.
Yeah, they
pull
just-
cords.
yeah.
Had-
They're
because-
professionals.
Yeah.
because I mean, that seems almost more like a carnival ride, the bungee jumping.
Yeah,
like,
right.
where you could have just somebody that's just
The guy
like,
who's
oh, go ahead,
operating it with
jump,
one
and then
arm.
then they do those dirty tricks where they throw a rope out, like, oh, it cut. It's like, that's not funny.
No, you're right.
It's just
That's
not funny.
That's bad.
I mean, I don't care if you enjoy it. That's just not funny.
But with a bungee jump, it's usually on your legs. So if it does break, you're hitting your head. So you're dead right away. With a skydive, you
Well, we
might
went
hit
deep,
your
we went
legs. What if
dark.
you hit a tree?
Yeah. Yeah, true.
These are things you have to think about.
Yes, I still think you go.
I probably would too.
Skydiving.
Skydiving,
because-
you go skydiving?
Because there might be multiple people with parachutes that actually work if yours doesn't. I agree.
3 steps up on a step ladder is too high for me. I do not like heights. But I would rather skydive, even though it's a lot higher, than bungee jump. Because being in an airplane, I'm not afraid of being in an airplane because it's so unrealistic. You're so high that you can't even, I don't think you can fathom. But again, who's the guy that tied me in? That's what I want to know. I
He's
mean,
got
at least
one
for the
arm.
pilot, yeah,
he's
you
sitting
should.
there. That looks right.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, we all agree on skydiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The second one, what would you rather always wear? Clothes that were slightly too tight or slightly too big? Too tight clothes always. You have to always wear them. Slightly too big, slightly too tight.
I'm going too big.
I'd have to agree with you.
What would be the
I mean,
drawback
like,
of being
too
too
tight.
big?
Like that's I have
Nothing.
to figure because like if it's too tight, like shirt, is it like
Crop
showing
top.
off? Yeah, like that. If it's
That
like
would be
okay,
uncomfortable, wouldn't it?
that's
But-
too
but
tight
for
me.
who? It'd be
But I'm saying,
uncomfortable
like,
for a
if
lot
it's-
of people.
If it's just like too just a little bit.
Yeah, good point.
But like baggy pants or something, you're always going to pull them up. I think you're still gonna have to do a lot of work, so I would probably go too
Well, if you're
tight.
doing sports, you'd rather probably have tighter clothes. But
Yeah.
if you're
Just living
around
life.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd go baggy because at least it's comfortable.
Yeah.
You can sit down and get your parachute pants on. And
What about you, Scott? You
Yeah.
feel that way?
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. So your pants are too big, then you put a belt on. I mean,
Yeah.
they're solved.
Yeah.
You can solve
Okay,
that.
all right.
It's-
I just didn't know if that
it's
was an
too big of a
option.
If
belt
it's too
too.
tight, well, there's not much you can do with that,
It's true.
right?
I guess that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah,
You
I
can-
think
you could also put your baggy clothes in the washer.
The answer can't change.
Yeah.
No, you're locked in.
Okay, I'm too tight.
Yeah.
What about you?
If mine are too tight, I think I would be uncomfortable and people looking at me would be uncomfortable. I think they'd be more comfortable with me and a little bit more.
So there's that.
Loosey-goosey
you
clothes.
wouldn't have too tight of clothes then because somebody would get you
Yeah, exactly. Someone
some
would go
looser
out and
fitting
buy it.
clothes
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for stopping by, taking
thank
time.
you.
This is a busy time of year for you, and you carved out a little time, and this will be airing prior to the school year beginning. So good luck. Whatever else you say, break a leg. No.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not sure what you say,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Seeing you around.
Hold on.
I think it's
Yeah. Hold on for dear
yeah.
life.
Hold on tight.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and plus you're going to be getting an award at the
Am I?
next in-service.
For
5 years.
No.
You'll get one of those.
well, you would think that, but I'm not.
What? They told you that?
Well, I saw the presentation,
Oh.
so I don't think my name's on it.
So do you have to go to it then too?
I think I should write my name in. Yeah.
That'd be
All
pretty
right,
easy.
then.
5
Yeah.
years, 5 years, darn it. Maybe you have to complete 5 years.
Would you give
Yeah, that's probably it.
the plaque to yourself? Like,
Oh.
would you be handing them
Yeah.
out and you'd be like,
No, 'cause
oh,
are you having it separate from the other staff?
No, it's all district, but
Yeah.
like, I think next year will be 5 because it's 5 full years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to complete
Semantics,
it.
really.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
No.
Sort of.
Not
Think
my
about
deal.
like 35 years, 36 years. Ugh,
I know, but heavens.
yeah, it's just wrong.
all right. Well, there you have it. Thanks again, Scott, for
You bet.
for coming, and Joe, thanks for joining.
Yeah.
So we'll end with that.
So before we get started today, want to just make an announcement that we had 7 people respond to our last podcast.
Oh, nice.
And not one of them mentioned whether they wanted me to go on rabbit trails, interesting stories, meanderings. And nobody said, you know, let's not do that. Nobody said, let's do it. And so just so you know how I'm taking that as they're overwhelmingly saying, Todd, we like that. Let's go with that.
That doesn't even need
I
to
read
be a
it the other
topic
way.
of
I
conversation.
read the silence as deafening. That
They're afraid.
they
you
don't
think, so?
really know how to let you down. They don't really know how to just say, Todd, please stop.
You can turn it up just a little ways. Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, it clicked on just. Okay, it should turn off.
Okay.
Well, I think that's why. I mean, I'm willing to hear from Cal.
yeah.
Cal Handel. I'm willing to hear from, because I mean he's been an honest critic of mine, and I don't mind that. But I mean, like BJ and Ruben and Sally and
Where are
who
they?
else? Who else? I mean,
Jeff commented on it.
yeah. I mean, there's just lots of people out there that could give us honest
It's okay, you
feedback
can
about
do
whether
it.
they
Just
like
type-
my
type-
creativity or
Just type in the comments. Just it's that simple.
yeah.
You're already there. Might as well just do it.
One thing that is positive, I saw that we have, I think, 5 or 6 new subscribers.
Nice.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice. And all they have to do is like push a button, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right
And
at
I
the
don't
end.
do that,
Just
but-
stay to the, even if you don't want to stay to the end, you can just go right to the end and you can just the subscribe button, like I do in my video.
Oh yeah.
Watch more
right
here
at the end.
or subscribe over here. So.
And the other thing is I wanted to have Demond, who's our audio visual producer, come up and talk. Just give him some credit, because he does such a nice job. I mean, I watch other podcasts, even bigger podcasts, and they don't have the production value that our podcast does.
We need to be a little
that's
careful,
true.
though. We
They-
don't talk them up too much because some other bigger podcast might steal him.
Yeah, it's true.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Rogan, or
Yeah.
what's that other sports guy, the
Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee,
McAfee.
or Jordan Peterson, all these different people, and hundreds of others could nab him.
Easily.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't have the production value, but they have the audience.
Okay, but listen, in all transparency for the people at home too, we gave him a raise this week
Nice.
Wow.
Well
to say
deserved.
we appreciate you and we want to keep you. So
It
don't
was
be
a little bit of a surprise.
don't be having taking your talent somewhere else.
Yeah.
No.
So I think we got him for a while yet.
Nice.
But Demond really does, in all seriousness, he does a great job.
I like how Joe and I somehow are both wearing camouflage hats today.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mine's
mine's
more
to
of-
hide my hairline, but yours, I'm not sure why. You know, you got a nice
Just
hairline.
representing Cleary.
Yeah.
Well, it's a
But
clear
that's
hat.
not really not really a local business, Joe.
Okay.
Anyway, what is this? Episode 22? Yeah.
Hey, do we dare talk? I mean, you got a lot of stuff there, so I don't want to go on and on. But do we dare talk about? I mean, Scott Moore is our interview. We just heard from him. We don't want to talk about your thoughts about going to school. I mean, we're right on the cusp.
My thoughts.
This is going to air on Tuesday, and the kids in our district go back on Thursday. You guys want to talk at all about what you thought about school, or what you were thinking this time, whether you were in grade school or whatever about school? Did you like school? Was it just a necessary evil? Or maybe we want to save that for another time.
We could probably just go through. I wasn't a big school guy. I did it because of, well, everybody goes to school basically, but sports. That's why I was there and seeing friends that were on the sports teams. So I wouldn't say I applied myself real strenuously, but
How about you, Joe? You were good at school.
I was good at school, but at this point, I felt like it was like a panic, kind of, because you were just like, like, okay, so all my summer's gone. Basically, it was like went so quickly. That's more what it was. It's like I gotta do some things. I gotta
Really live
Yeah,
life
uh-huh.
this last couple of
Yeah,
days.
uh-huh.
Go swimming and be outside. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Johnny? Anything?
Yeah. I like school all that much. I didn't mind college. Some it's fine, but yeah, it was my favorite.
Drusif.
This time of year, specifically in elementary, middle school, and maybe even early on in high school, there was, I would say there was nervous energy I had. I'm a big energy guy.
Tension.
Yeah.
And like just because I didn't really like school that much, but you had to go. And so, sometimes you get some new clothes, and that was kind of fun. That part was get some new school material, maybe a new backpack, which in this household did not happen a lot, but if you did, that was really nice. Usually it was after the firstborn, it was you get something passed down. I'd get us some new things from time to time, especially when I had a job. Then you had some money to throw your way. But yeah, I would say it was just kind of like you wanted summer to continue, but you realized that it was over. And so, you're kind of a little excited about going to school just because it was a new year. I'd say that.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Great. That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Just your
And that
thoughts.
all of that was a rabbit trail. Here we go.
So
now
people
it's
can decide if
after-
they like that kind of stuff or not.
After almost
Feedback.
7 minutes, we're here with the original father-son voiceover
And we're
podcast.
doing Today in History.
And we're doing
Nice.
Today in History with Drew.
Yeah.
Nice.
Today is the 28th of August, and
August.
we'll start rolling here.
That you're not doing it in advance to
Today is
Tuesday. Today.
August
Correct.
28th.
Sunday, August 28th.
And we're doing August 28th.
Perfect. Because
Today
last
in
week
history.
you did.
Kind of keeps it simple.
But last week you did this day in
Oh,
history,
true,
but it was
true.
Tuesday, and we did it Sunday. So
Yeah,
don't
that's
look
true.
at me like it's like I'm crazy. So
I'm just
Go back and
laying
look
it
at the
out.
video.
yeah,
Is what you're saying.
we got
Let's watch the
Video
Video
tapes.
proof.
script's good, Drew. Stick with the script.
All right. So we're going to have some names here in this Today in History that I'm not going to be able to pronounce, but I think people like that. Here's
Feedback.
the year is 476. Orestes, father of Emperor Romulus Augustulus,
Wow.
is captured and executed by Odoacer, and his followers. And I got a little history on this.
Odiezer.
Sure. Odoacer,
Mr. School.
also spelled
It's a Z.
Odavasser or Baker. I don't know why they had to spell it so many different ways.
He invented HVAC.
Was a soldier and statesman of
HVACer.
barbarian background. He was Germanic tribes, who deposed the child emperor Romulus Augustulus and became king of Italy. Odoacer.
Odiezer.
Odoacer.
There you go.
There's no Z there. Whatever.
But that's how you sometimes you say the S.
In Italian, the Z.
Yes.
That's a C though.
In Italian, the C becomes a Z sometimes.
I really lose
ZZ
any
Top.
sort of when you say that's how you say the S, and there was no S in there.
That's okay. So
You said that with a straight
Odiezer.
face.
All right, so this guy, the overthrow of Romulus Augustulus is traditionally seen as marking the end of Western Roman Empire as well as ancient Rome. So that was kind of the end, the beginning of the end for
Odiezer.
Rome.
That is a big deal.
What, 437 or whatever
No.
you said?
476. I said.
476.
I mean, you just talked about the
A major
end of-
empire.
Yeah, and it's
Major
done.
empire. Yeah,
and,
it's over.
And
Close
you
the
just-
book,
you
not
just-
a chapter.
Yeah.
Close the whole book.
You just butchered the names. I mean, big time.
Yeah.
That's all right. No one cares.
Just think of
over.
a Roman Empire
Historian.
historian. Is
Yeah.
is
rolling around. in
yeah?
his-
They just can't even imagine.
Yeah, I just slaughtered all of their names. But hey, it was the end of the Roman Empire. Sorry about that.
Yeah, this is.
We fast forward a long way to 1189, the Third Crusade. The Crusaders begin the siege of Acre under Guy of Lusignan. Probably that's not even close. I'm sure.
Lusignan?
Oh boy.
Lusigna.
Why don't
Doesn't
you
even
just
see
call
it.
it-
He's correcting somebody that's actually
wonder
reading
if-
it.
I wonder
Maybe
if-
he's from France. Guy. Might have been Guy.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but I wonder if, or it might be he had
That's how you
such a
pronounce
hard
that.
last name that they just started saying, "Hey guy,
Yeah.
Dude.
hey guy, dude, chief."
Which is what a lot of
Guy.
older men around this area
Hey, guy.
call you if they don't really know your name.
They can't remember your name. They know you, and they should know you, and they should remember your name, but they don't, and so they just call you guy.
Well, the easiest thing to know is that, hey, you're a guy, so I'm just gonna, hey, guy.
Yep.
Yep.
Maybe that's what happened with that
guy.
guy.
Yeah,
Very
Lusignan,
possible.
whatever his last name was.
1207, King John of England grants small town of Liverpool, where the Beatles are from, a charter, the right to elect a mayor and an alderman. That was nice of him.
Oh, this some sort of democratic
Yeah.
government was coming there.
Yeah.
Evidently.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe they deserved that. I don't understand why they. I'd have to get a little more history on that. Joe would have to do that if he was at the computer
Yep.
right now.
Right over there.
We got to get that. We
A
gotta
little
get that.
fast forward here, 400 years, 1609. The English explorer Henry Hudson. Here's Brando. Discovers and explores Delaware Bay. So there you
Delaware.
have it.
Delaware.
Delaware.
And the Hudson
B.
River is named after him.
Sure is.
After him, not him.
Right, and we have a Hudson Street in Mazomania. It's one of the main streets
Yep.
Sure is.
named after. I don't think it's named after him. I think it's named after some other guy. Last name Hudson.
No. Stand to reason.
Okay.
1830, the first American-built locomotive, Tom Thumb, races a horse-drawn car from Stockton and Stoke Stagecoach Company. They're not around probably anymore. From Baltimore to Ellicott Mills. Let history record that due to mechanical problems, the horse won.
Makes sense.
Why would that make
Because
sense?
wasn't the car. Oh, he raced a horse?
The-
I thought
the
you said a
locomotive
horse
did.
drawn vehicle. Doesn't that. No, seriously.
So he was
I thought you said.
racing against himself.
No.
The horse was in a vehicle driving.
A horse-drawn car
Right.
I thought he was pulling
Carriage.
it. I thought he was
Horse-drawn
pulling
carriage.
it.
beat a locomotive.
Okay.
There were
the
two
locomotive-
horses.
Because the locomotive had mechanical issues. Okay, I was just making sure. I thought you said the locomotive was being pulled by a horse, and I thought, that doesn't make sense. Why it would be the first automotive car then if it's being pulled by?
Well, it definitely
a horse.
wasn't automotive.
And it wasn't a car. It was
And
a
the
train.
point being is the
We have
old
lots of problems here.
the old timers.
First
sure I
of
was
all, I'm
listening.
not sure you were listening.
Yeah, we're universally. I'm
That's
not
not
a great
listening.
listener.
The old timers then said, "See,
Right.
horses are more dependable.
Right.
Not this new technology, not this newfangled stuff, because a horse is more dependable than this technological whiz. Don't you think? Probably that's what naysayers
Yep.
were.
What did we say? Did we find out how many
Naysayers.
horsepower one horse?
Nay.
Wasn't it like 4 point something horsepower?
I'm not sure I'm understanding your question.
How much horsepower does one horse have?
And it's more than one. It's more than 1 horsepower.
It is. It's like 4.6 or something like that. We learned.
Yep.
See,
When did we-
you
when
look
did
at
we
me
learn
like
that?
I'm this just.
When did we learn this?
I don't. It was at some point we heard this that it was like a fun fact. Maybe you brought up. Maybe
Oh,
you should
maybe.
remember that. Mm-hmm. It's your own facts.
I just put them down and I don't even really pay
Get the
attention.
facts straight. Get the facts straight.
I think that's true. That a horse, you'd think that just
Has
one horse would be one
horsepower.
horsepower, but it's not.
Really? Huh.
But technically, it is just 1 horsepower. There's not multiple horses there.
I know, but they pull more than one.
It's probably a measure.
Horsepower must be a
measurement.
measurement.
It's a unit.
of
Yep.
some
It
sort.
is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
and one horse
See.
pulls more than 1 horsepower.
There you go. Maybe they break it
That
down into
makes
pony
sense.
Unit
power.
of measurement.
Pony power.
That's what
I
horsepower
think what
is.
people are finding out is that sometimes we think we're dumber than we are, but we're really not as dumb as we come across sometimes.
That's
true. There we figured that out.
We're not as
Oh.
dumb as we sound sometimes.
Exactly.
In 1837, the pharmacists John Lee and William Perrins manufactured Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
sauce. Worcestershire. Yeah. Wow. What year? 18 what?
Worcestershire sauce. 1837, pharmacists.
Oh,
That's why it tastes like medicine.
I think it tastes good.
Yeah, I think it does too.
Yeah.
1859, a geomagnetic storm causes the aurora borealis to shine so brightly that it is seen clearly over parts of the USA, Europe, and even as far as Japan.
Wow.
Northern Lights, Aurora
Interesting.
Borealis.
A geomagnetic storm?
I guess so.
What's
Maybe.
included in a geomagnetic?
I don't know. I don't have that information. But it must have really pumped the lights on the Aurora Borealis.
Mm-hmm.
Shine really bright.
Mm-hmm. Shine bright like a diamond.
In
Go ahead.
1884, first known for photograph. Wow. Sometimes I have a little hard time here with some of these words.
They just kind of jump out at you.
Yeah, I know. It's like I haven't read them before.
Tongue twister.
First known photograph of a tornado is made near Howard, South Dakota.
Interesting.
I saw the picture of it. The mom might be able to put up a photo if he wants to. He doesn't have to either, but it's kind of interesting.
Was it a good picture or no?
It's kind of a rough.
Well.
It's like maybe somebody drew it.
A little shaky, maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
Certainly black and white.
Makes your head spin. That was the joke
Yeah,
there.
there you go.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep. 1898, Caleb Bradham renames his carbonated soft drink Pepsi Cola.
That's a fan favorite right here.
I didn't know Pepsi was around that long. I thought Coke was the oldest.
Yeah, I thought so too. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
What
That's-
date? What was the date again of that?
That's 1898.
Well, I
Caleb
mean,
Bradham.
Coca-Cola could be.
Okay, quick.
Mm-hmm.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Pepsi or
Pepsi.
Coke? Pepsi or Coke? Pepsi or Coke?
I probably
Though I don't mind Coke.
would say I would say Mountain Dew. If you're a Mountain Dew guy,
Pepsi
you
or
say
Coke?
Mountain Dew.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke, I guess.
Okay, I'm Coke. Why? Real quickly, why?
More crisp.
Yeah.
Coke is
Coke
is
has a
sugary?
more
No,
Pepsi's
Pepsi's
a
a
little
little
bit
I
more
mean, Pepsi
sugary.
is more sugary.
Yeah,
That's
Coke
what I
has a
meant.
little bit more of a
Yeah.
bite to it at the end.
Yeah,
I would say it's like tart, a
both,
little
but I would-
tart.
If
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
if I had the choice, I'd pick Pepsi over Coke, but I do like Coke.
Okay.
Anyway,
I used
Most
to-
pops,
Coca-Cola, I
Most
should
pops
say.
are hard to turn down.
I used to like
Diet.
Pepsi when I was younger,
mm-hmm.
just like I liked milk chocolate. Now I like dark chocolate. And somebody I read this, that as you get older, your taste buds change somewhat. So look at there, our youngest likes Pepsi. The rest of us like Coke.
You guys are just more mature than
Oh,
me.
man.
It's,
Your taste buds
uh,
are more mature.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 5 original father-son podcasters
Choose Coke.
enjoy Coke over
Choose Coke. Yep.
Pepsi.
We're not sponsored by
Not
them
sponsored
at
yet.
all.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not
Nope.
yet.
I mean, listen, I would change real quick if Pepsi wanted to throw us a sponsorship. I would be happy to drink Pepsi.
Yeah, they threw us a bone there. We'd take it.
But Barks root
give it
beer
like
is my favorite.
We would be actually happy if anybody sponsored us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even if our tap water sponsored us.
Yep.
That's how low we'd be willing to go.
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't
How's
know
that
how
not
you could be
making sense?
sponsored by that.
Tap water.
It's a
Yeah,
government.
Pennsylvania
we'd be-
utilities,
we'd
is
be
that
willing to take even the lowest. Like we have no sponsors.
So
Right.
again, 4 out of 5 of
So
original
0.
fellow don't understand that joke.
he doesn't
I don't think he does either. You're just talking.
No, I was just saying that tap water doesn't ever sponsor anybody.
Okay.
But we'd be willing to take it if they did.
Okay.
We're
Next
waiting for
one.
that endorsement.
Yep.
That's
Right here. Watch as I get us an endorsement just like that.
from tap water.
Yeah. What about the dust cutter,
Oh man,
Dad?
that was tough.
I don't know.
There was a
Picked
drink
up
from
it's
Piggly
kind of like
Wiggly.
an old fashioned lemonade. It's called the dust cutter.
really sharp, really
It's just
strong.
something that
That really wasn't.
you had Celsius at Quick Trip. I went
That's
with
a
a tried
energy
and
drink?
true. I went with
No,
grape
it's just
Faygo.
like it's a sparkling water.
Oh.
I've seen people drink it. You're the sparkling water.
I don't
You're
mind
big
buying
aficionado.
water.
Yeah, John.
He's also Mr. Tester. That's who he is.
I
He's really like John likes
Oh,
testing.
I like
things.
tasting. Yeah, I like testing.
Oh, Mr. Tester.
Yeah.
And sometime, I mean, we should do it soon. You guys got to not
Taste
today,
test.
not today. Well, taste test, but sometime we got to hear about your camping trip.
Oh, man.
Hudson's a big time camper. You not so much.
I'm
and
not a
that
happy
was-
camper.
No, but sometime we got to hear about that.
Yeah.
And Drew made that
I don't know if we
well-known.
want to just cut right in and stop, but we've got so much
No.
more to go.
At some
We
point.
keep going here. We'll do that next week. We'll
plow
talk
through
about
this.
that.
Tease that a little bit.
I'm still coming down from it, so
After chopping up that Pepsi Cola here, we got 1910. Nicholas I of Montenegro again proclaims himself king. First assumed power in 1860. So
Was that a
50
daily
years,
thing?
Listen, I'm the king.
And I'm
Yep.
king.
I just want you to know I'm the king now.
Yeah.
that a
50
daily-
years
That's an insecure
after,
king
his
is what
reign
it is.
interrupted. His reign was interrupted just like this fact was interrupted by Turkish rule. 50 years.
Oh, I see.
So he first said,
I'm
I'm king in 1860. And then the Turks came in and said, no, you're not king. And he said, okay, that's fine. He kept quiet for 50 years. And then
Now
he
I'm
said,
king.
I'm king again.
How old was he?
I don't know.
Must
might
have been a
have been-
child
Maybe
king
that was
or
his first
something.
word
Yeah.
out of his
King.
mouth, king.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, oh, okay.
That is a
First thing
long
that you're
time
not-
to wait.
You're not king.
So it wasn't that he was insecure. It was he was a perseverer. He just
Yeah.
waited and waited and
waited.
waited until he got the Turks out, and then he took over again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Way to go, Nick.
Way to hang on there.
Patience,
Yep.
persistence, perseverance.
Here, I got back-to-back rainfall record in the United States. 1911, a year after Nick proclaims himself king for the second time. 45.7 centimeters of rainfall, which nobody knows how much that is. So it's 17.99 inches, almost 18 inches
Okay.
of rainfall in St. George, Georgia, which is a state record. 18 inches.
Is that like...
Why do you give us the centimeters?
That's what they give you.
But
That's
I mean,
what
why
they
don't you
start
just
out
cut that out? Edit
let's cut that out.
Let's edit that from now on because nobody talks like that. Not around us. We talk in feet and inches,
Hours,
and degrees,
miles.
Fahrenheit, and so let's not give in. Let's not
Placate.
give in to that
No.
because.
Well, I'm not, though.
Because-
I'm giving us the translation.
But I mean,
It's
how
not
many
lost.
years ago was it?
This
that
isn't a
they
personal
came
attack
through.
on you.
No. It's not a person. It's more of a.
It seems like
it's
it,
more
but
of a
it's not.
cultural thing. How many years ago did they come into our schools and say
Yeah.
we're all going to do
Big
we're
change
going to do
coming. Big change
centigrade,
coming, yep.
we're going to do
Senegal?
Centimeters.
yeah, all these different things.
Metric system.
So you don't even remember
Metric
it. You
system.
don't even remember
Well,
it.
Big
that's
change
because
coming.
we were normal when
Yeah,
we were in
uh-huh.
school. We just did normal math. I'm going on a tangent here. We just did normal math, not that other stuff.
Yep.
And we did
Common Shore.
Yeah, we did all sorts of stuff that was just normal. And I think they think we were kind of backwards back then and old fashioned.
Yeah.
But that's why it's probably a bad pet peeve that I have when we, and it's, again, I'm not taking it out on you. I just thought
I felt as though I was the whipping boy there.
you were being attacked. I was,
well,
I
I'll
tell
was,
you what, that's
I was
the last time
killing
we'll
the
be in
messenger,
centimeters.
It's usually
killing the
me.
messenger rather than the mess.
Usually I'm the whipping
Yeah.
boy. So for one time, you were the whipping boy. So
Yours
that's
is
okay.
self-induced, though.
Yeah.
That's true, but this time
Self-inflicted.
Drew self-induced.
Okay, I apologize, but
We've
it was
got
more
ourselves
8 minutes.
oh,
Little 7 minutes
Okay, I'm
now.
gonna be good now.
Thanks.
11?
7 minutes.
7. Okay. Well, I don't even know. I mean, we could probably chop it up, go to the next one too.
Go to the next one, dog.
I'm talking about the next little segment. But I don't understand, even when people talk about when they say, wow, we got a lot of rainfall last night. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, I
Was it
heard a lot of it.
17.99
But they,
inches?
but they say, you know, we got 1.5 inches. I was like, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? People say that. They'll go come to work and they'll say, lots of rain. Rain gauge was showing 2 inches last night. It's like, what? You know?
There are a lot of people that you work with that talk like that.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's like it doesn't even make any sense. But
I-
this 18 inches sounds like a
Yeah,
lot.
that'll-
It's not a very deep subject.
I'm honestly, I'm feeling a little pressure right now. And the reason is because the executive producer, I think, wants to be done,
No,
which is fine.
I'm not. No, I was just telling you that that's how much time we have left on this.
Okay.
We can
Okay.
stop. We can.
Okay.
We can re.
Okay, but
Whatever
I
you
don't
call
want you.
that.
I don't want you to get angry.
All right, well, let's just move. We'll just move on.
Let's do
here.
one more, and we'll.
51 years later, this is another rainfall record here.
Wow.
1962, we had 22 inches of rainfall at Hackberry, Louisiana, which is also a state record. 22 inches.
What's the? Is there a world record?
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm sure there
I'm sure there
probably
is.
High in
Yeah.
the rainforest, there is.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4,
Thank you. You
5,
took out
6.
centimeters, right on your own, just like
Yep.
that.
On cue, baby.
Thank you.
Yep.
You bet.
Adapting mid podcast.
So I don't know what we want to do. If we want to just cut it real quick and then we'll come back and do like
Let's do it.
we probably have like 10 minutes left. But the problem is that we don't want to.
There's
don't
no
wanna
limit
truncate
on
it.
our fun.
Yeah, it feels. It feels like it
and
is
I've been
sometimes, but
the greatest transgressor on that front.
I think what you
I've
have,
always tried to put a.
Cap.
I want to. Yeah,
Trying to
but
truncate us.
well,
Don't truncate us.
you're trying to have the balance between making Demond have to do so much work because this is work, and he has.
He got a pay raise. He got a pay raise.
True.
So
He got a pay raise.
he's
Yeah,
got to
and
work
keeping
more for it.
creativity alive, because creativity can't be boxed in.
Yeah.
And as people can see, this is a creative bunch.
Yep.
That's one thing we are. And so maybe, are you okay with
We're
us going
so
over
creative. Yeah, we're so creative. We are going to go to a break right now, even though we're not live, and we'll be back with more. We're back with
I'm not even
fun.
going to tease it.
Oh, no teases.
More today in history.
All right, we'll be back.
Hey, it's Todd and Becky and John. We're out in our backyard and watching fireworks. And you're watching the original father-son voiceover podcast.
So the last one we left off on was in 1962, the rainfall record in the state of Louisiana, Hackberry. Year later, 1963, Martin Luther King drenched us with his delivers his "I Have a Dream" speech. There's a rainfall
segue.
there, addressing the march on Washington for jobs and freedom, Civil Rights March at Lincoln Memorial, Washington D.C. "I Have a Dream," 1963, August 28th.
Wow. What's the next one you got there?
1965.
2 years later.
The first Subway sandwich shop opens in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
It's that old.
I didn't know it was that old.
They've been
No idea.
doing those delicious
Really?
sandwiches.
Hey,
I was a
hey,
Subway
hey.
artist.
Yep.
That's what I was. We used to wear that tag too. It's that I'm a sandwich artist.
How old were you?
I think I was 14.
Wow.
You can take how far is it over? It's right.
It's a stone's throw, I'd say.
No,
I
it's
bet you
two.
it's 2 blocks.
No, it's just one block
Okay.
to the highway, right? From here,
Have you
one
Just
block,
across the alleyway.
and then it's just right.
You just start from here.
So it's an alleyway away, or is it 2 blocks away?
Just go right
From right here to
from home.
there?
I think it's just one
Yeah,
city
I'd
block.
say it's
one
a stone's
village
throw.
block.
That'd be
Okay.
easier. Yep.
Anyway,
As the crow flies?
but it is right. I mean, you used to work. We could even see it from our house in
Yep.
the winter when the trees would lose their leaves.
Here's a few, and you and Mom specifically shared some of these memories with me.
Yep.
I would close up, and you have these too from working on restaurants. Sometimes it would be me and like Crystal Darrow now, or Sarah Peterson, who I think her last name is Johnson now. So we would close up, and she was a year older than me. And there's 2 of us that were closing this
old were you?
place.
You were
I was
just born-
14.
you were
I
born
was
older,
almost not 15. We were closing up that place, and we had put money away. It's like, who's
Talk
trusting
about-
us
yeah.
here? We're so young.
I think
Yeah,
I
I'd
think
say.
about 15-year-olds like myself at 15, and it's like when I was 15, I thought I was pretty
responsible, and
mature. Yikes!
Yeah.
Now you think about 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
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 I did. I was the same age when after a week as a cook at KC's over in Black Earth, a drive-in restaurant, where Dennis Kirch of KC's came in and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go for an hour or so. Can you handle this?" Running the whole place. I was 15 and a half years old. I had no business running the place.
But you did it.
But I did it.
Yeah,
I mean, and it didn't burn down or anything, and yours didn't. I mean, you got the money put away, and you never got put in jail or anything
Yep.
for embezzling or
I didn't steal any money. I had no thoughts of stealing the
No,
money.
But that's
No.
because they paid you in sandwiches, right? You got a free sandwich.
You'd get
Well, they paid you money, and then they,
Yes.
I
of
didn't
course.
get just paid in sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
You would get for an 8-hour shift.
that's kind of a rip off.
Here's 8 sandwiches for your work today. Good luck. Well, you wouldn't go hungry.
That's true. You couldn't live anywhere, but you wouldn't go
Well,
hungry.
you live with mom and dad. They didn't kick you out.
Well, I'm saying that if you were just simply making,
If everybody was
Sandwiches.
making
Think about
that,
it. You would have
somebody
been able
that's
to.
older
You would have
than
been able to provide for a whole family supper.
again, but I would have no home. I would have no vehicle.
This is. You're
Would
15.
I live in Subway?
You can't even drive at 14.
What would be the
Well,
point?
why would I
what
have
be
a
the
I wouldn't have
family
a
at
vehicle
15?
in my own house.
So
You're
he's talking
14.
about you could take your 8 sandwiches home
Yeah.
to your
Provide.
family and
Yes.
provide for us.
You could.
Get 1 sandwich per hour.
That's a great. I mean, how much does a sandwich
What
go?
would be the point of- what would be the point of working
paid?
then?
$7, $6 an hour.
What would be the
I
point
think I
of
was getting
working then?
Like $5, $5.25.
Yeah, see, so there you go. It's close to the same thing with tax.
I never really thought about
It
it.
is.
But if you get paid in
It's kind of true. See, you think about it
then
more.
you'd
You
be providing for your family.
you think, yeah, exactly.
Oh, anyway.
What a great.
You would get a foot long if you worked for 8 hours, but if you had a 4-hour shift, they cut that baby in half, which just makes common sense.
That sure does.
Yeah. So sometimes I would eat.
Kind of, but those subs are so, for Subway to
Well, now they
give
are.
those to you. They might as well just give you one.
You get
what
all the
want.
pop you want, though.
Oh, wow. That's kind of fun. though, at
That
that
is,
age.
that is a trap right there.
Yeah.
Of all the pop you want.
I remember one
Yikes.
time.
Did they have
I was-
Powerade there? Blue
I
Powerade?
don't remember if they did
They
at
had
that
Blue
time.
Powerade.
That's
I'd
John's
be
favorite.
loading
Yeah,
up
Blue
on that.
Powerade.
Barks root beer.
I remember one time,
not-
and this was back when working through being sick was you were really tough.
Or
This
you,
was
you
pre-
could do
This is
it.
pre-COVID, clearly because that was a long time ago. But I remember one time I was making those sandwiches, and I
Subway?
was so sick. I had that runny
Would
nose.
you like a little French
I was-
dressing with that?
French.
I
Maybe
had-
like Italian. or
I
something.
believe that the sub was so salty. I was having that drainage probably drip down in there.
Oh,
But I was so sick, and so I was sniffing a bunch, and it's like I can't imagine people coming in.
You wouldn't have eaten
I
there.
mean, I was
you wore
washing my
gloves,
hands
though.
a bunch.
Yeah,
I was
you wore
washing,
gloves,
wearing
yeah.
gloves, but I'd sneeze in the back sometimes, and I'd come back out and make subs, and it's like, what am I doing here?
Now, you had some strict, they still do that. You wash your hands each time. and
Oh,
all that
yeah.
stuff. So you were at least doing that, but
You guys
Yeah.
know that when we've
He wasn't
gone to
washing his
restaurants
nose
as a
every time.
family, remember sometimes when we're placed by the door where you can see
Yeah.
in the kitchen, I don't look in there. And the reason is because I've been in restaurants for a long time working when I was growing up and even into college and even after when you guys were young, Johnny and Drew, when you guys were just little, I worked at a restaurant in Madison, and it's like I've seen so many things. I'm not trying to make this bad or anything, but that's a small thing.
Yeah.
So restaurants
But
can be a little
it's
scary.
it's human beings that are making your food. So it's like, unfortunately, that's what you get because.
But that, I think that's
let's be
the
honest,
good
though,
part about it.
Those people
You
are
just-
probably,
That's what making you human.
if you think about it, those people there are probably washing their hands more than the people at your house are maybe washing their hands.
certainly hope
You know what
so,
I mean?
yeah.
That might actually be a thing.
That's the hope, is that they are following by those
yeah,
rules.
But
Because
when
if
you're
you-
in your
if-
home,
unless-
though,
if
when you're in
you-
your home, though, you have people
Okay, I'm talking.
that you've become immune to. Like
in
they're
other
immune to the
businesses,
same
you
things.
cut,
Like
in
other
businesses,
people,
you cut corners too. So who's to say that there's probably plenty of people cutting
Sure,
corners
no,
and
I get
washing
it.
their
They
hands.
Well,
have
let's
a
take
sign
Drew.
on the door
That says
They have a
employees must
sign on
wash
the door
hands. Yeah.
that says employees need to wash hands, as if that needs
You need to be
a
reminded.
rule.
Yeah.
Well,
no, but think
they're
about it. If Drew's
teenagers,
there.
too. Teenage
If
boys.
Drew's there and he's
trouble.
washing his hands even 25 times a day,
Yeah,
that's 20. That's
I get
that's
that.
20
right.
more times than I wash my hands a day.
you kept
Think
track
about-
of
you
how many
wash-
times you wash your hands.
I'm just
during a day?
saying.
Have you worked in food service at all?
No.
Have you?
Have I
Yes.
worked?
Well, what did you do?
That's a
I
good
worked in a
question.
bakery.
Bakery.
I don't know about
That's not.
that.
That's a grocery store.
Oh, you're but
That's
you
food
did
service.
for fair food.
Yeah.
That's
And
That's
you
on the-
and you
that's on
worked
the
at a restaurant.
mill.
Yeah.
Feed mill,
And
yeah.
and I worked in a lot and you worked in we should sometime have a
You guys
a
saved me
podcast
restaurant, yeah.
just talk about restaurant stories cuz I've got several that are
No,
You don't wanna
I
be
worked at an
eating while we're
organic
talking
produce
about
farm.
no.
And we would mulch and all that stuff, and you'd come and wash your hands off, and they wouldn't be very clean. And you'd still eat,
Yeah.
Did you prepare food for people there?
Yeah,
kind of,
Okay.
because we were harvesting.
yeah, but they weren't.
what they were going to clean at home. But that's real close.
I'm probably the best cook out of all three of you
What are we
boys.
talking about, though?
That's
We're just
false.
talking about restaurant work.
But we can talk about restaurant and you can come up with some stories about the farm and stuff. I'm happy to hear those.
Yeah.
He's afraid he's going to be
I might have to kind of sit and listen. Tough. Hudson might have to listen.
It's not my fault you didn't let me work in the food industry. It's true. It kinda
Sometime
saved me.
we'll have to have a podcast set aside for for our employment.
I guess you
That'd
don't want me to
fun.
be here.
Employment.
I'll just be quiet then.
No, we can have it about employment.
Perfect.
Just stories about employment. Focused
Get
on
everybody
restaurant.
involved. That's perfect.
Well, I'm a voiceover artist, so I'm basically unemployed right now.
Yeah.
Next.
1965, Bob Dylan was booed for playing an electric guitar in a concert at Forest Hills Tennis Stadium in Queens, New York City. Probably because he was a folk singer, I would imagine, right? He was playing the regular guitar, an acoustic.
I think it was that, but I think it was also probably they didn't like the newfangled music. I would imagine they wanted his old acoustic guitar and folk singing, and maybe they thought he was changing, or who knows. They didn't like the new move toward rock and roll or stuff like that. Maybe. I'm
They
guessing.
wanted the old stuff.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. 1977, Nolan Ryan strikes out 300 batters for the 5th straight year. 300 batters in a year. 5
so
straight
many.
times.
That's so many.
That is a lot of strikeouts. Right there's 1,500. That's a lot of strikeouts. Oh, wow.
Is he still the leader in strikeouts? Probably.
I think so.
I don't know.
Okay.
Cy Young is the leader in wins, correct?
Yeah.
Like 500 some.
Oh, 500. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah,
500.
he's got a ton.
Yeah.
He's got a ton.
Nice.
1980, the first use of a magnetic resonance imaging machine, MRI, to scan the human body at Aberdeen Royal Infirmary in Scotland was used. MRI.
That must have been, what year was that?
1980.
Oh, okay. Pretty revolutionary stuff.
Yeah. 1981, John Hinckley pleads innocent to attempt to assassinate U.S. President Ronald Reagan.
Didn't he just get released?
I believe so.
I think so.
Wait. He
Tried
Attempted.
to kill.
no, but he
Not
was
guilty.
Not guilty,
He pled not guilty.
but didn't.
He was guilty.
But he was.
Yeah.
Well,
That's-
either that or he just pleads innocence. Maybe just like, I didn't do it. But we found the gun. It was in your pocket.
Didn't
kinda
Reagan
like
get
a
shot?
video.
Yeah,
of
he
it,
got
too.
shot in the chest, in the lung, I think.
It's like
John.
It's right there, John.
Yeah,
John, we've got video.
John.
and
listen,
here.
we're not going to go
Anyways.
through this again.
We're not cavemen.
Let's get this figured
John.
out
We've
here.
got
Do I even need to
There's
file
one thing
paperwork?
you're not.
Let's get the first thing that you're not. You're not innocent.
Yeah.
Okay.
But think about being released. Yeah.
now and
Yeah.
all of the
40 years
technological
later.
changes. and
Not
stuff.
only that,
1 year
but
later.
if people still know and love Ronald Reagan, which a lot of people do, then I'd want to go to a different country and have plastic surgery and lose my identity. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be walking around. Yeah, I'm John Hinckley Jr. Yeah.
I think you just start by going to another country. And if somebody says, hey, that's John Hinckley, then you go to another one. And just
Change
try it
the
again.
name then.
I'm not doing plastic surgery. That's what I'm kind of saying.
Then you'd want to be known as Guy. Just Guy. You want to blend in.
Yeah, there's that
Hey,
guy.
there's Guy.
Yeah. Although I'll be honest with you, if John Hinckley was walking around our block right now, I'm not sure I would notice him.
Well, especially now, 40 years later. I mean,
I'm
I
not sure I need
remember
to
what
be
he
worried.
looked
I'm
like.
not Ronald Reagan.
Well, that's true. You're not a president. Good point.
He wasn't shooting at me. That's all I have, folks, on that. And then we have fun holidays.
Okay, well,
Nice.
that's what we were
So
looking
here's
forward
some
to.
fun holidays. National Bow Tie Day.
Oh,
today.
That's a good one because Scott always wears a bow tie.
Oh,
Scott
really?
Moore,
Scott
our
Moore.
guest.
Moore. Nice.
Our guest
Perfect.
on the
It's
Oh,
a
couch.
good touch.
perfect.
It's a good touch.
Seems like we always kind of wrap something in that just perfectly
Yeah.
fits.
Way to go. Way to bring that up.
We didn't have
that's
that
nice.
planned, by the way,
No.
but it worked well.
National Cherry Turnover Day, as opposed to other fruits you can put in turnovers. Specifically, National Cherry Turnover Day today.
What is a turnover?
It's kind of like a pie type thing.
It's a pastry.
It's a pastry.
So it's like
Joe
a
worked in
scone
the bakery,
almost?
so he would know.
Almost?
I wouldn't say it's a.
No, it's
It's
like
not
a,
like a scone? Okay.
No.
it's almost like a pie flipped over.
I would say it's kind of like,
it's
a
like a
pie like
I
thing.
think you put filling in it. It's round, and you can make them round. Put a little filling in it, a dab of filling, and then turn it over, and then bake it. And it bakes
Hence the
within
turnover.
It's
the
got sugar on the top of it,
or
kind
a
of.
little drizzle of some
I might know what that is. I'm not
frosting.
sure.
It's good. I mean,
You know what are really good? Those like Kringles, whatever they're called.
Oh yeah, the
Kringle,
circular.
oof.
Kringle. That's what they're
Yeah,
called.
it's
aren't they?
called, yeah, Kringle.
But what is those called though? There's something else.
Danish.
Danish Kringle.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
there you go. I think that's a specific type of Kringle.
So there's a guy at the
Not to
wellness
be
center
confused with Chris.
that would bring them in like every Friday.
Really?
You'd bring them in because they had a bunch of guys that had coffee there. They would come to the wellness center to drink coffee, which is like
Just a community
Watch people
center.
work out.
watch other people work out. Some of them would kind of work out, but they would come
It's
down
tough to
and
work
come
out
for
with
the
a
Kringle.
coffee in your hand.
Yeah. And
Anyway,
a Kringle.
they would leave some. And it was kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it was very.
We've
I
had
liked
them, so you don't have to explain them. But
Yeah.
like down at the Mix It Up place where I work out on the treadmill. So I'll run for an hour, walk, mainly run, and it'll be 800 calories that I expend supposedly, and then I come home and have a chocolate chip cookie for 300 calories.
this is
What I'm saying is when those guys would go to the wellness center and have a
They weren't
Kringle
running
and
for an
coffee,
hour.
you'd have to exercise a lot to eat off that Kringle, and they probably didn't do it. So they thought they were at the wellness center to lose weight and to get in shape, but they were really just gaining calories, right?
Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were just watching people and hoping it would wash
it was
over
just
them.
happening. They were at the wellness center. They're doing the
They
work,
were thinking
baby
about.
stepping.
They got there. They were trying to get there first, and then they were gonna. Next was
Good things will happen.
I'm gonna
if we
work
get
out
to-
next. I'm drinking coffee here, and I'm eating my Danish.
There's a small step. It is a small step.
Maybe 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last
also,
one.
We also have National Power Rangers Day.
Oh,
Suit up,
yes.
baby. Damon maybe could put us all. We've got 5 Power Rangers right here. He
There
can
you
put
go.
us all in.
Put
I
us
call
in
the white one.
Can I have
that's a
red?
good one.
Can I have red?
Yeah, there's
I
red
think
one.
there's a red one.
Hudson's
People are
pink.
gonna have some too.
Green, isn't there green?
Yellow and
yellow.
pink.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, there was a green one.
They
Yep.
they had a couple
so you
different
could find-
interchanges.
yep.
and a blue one.
I said that.
Yep.
Maybe
And
they
you
just
have
have
the
those
blue one.
helmets at least.
Yep.
At least that.
Yeah, put the
Maybe
old
that's
helmet
the way
on.
to do that. I don't know.
Oh, Power.
Then there's this last
Gogo
one.
Power Rangers. That's what it was.
Yeah,
I almost said Turtles.
We weren't really
off,
supposed to watch it, but
and that's
yeah.
I don't know exactly the reasoning behind it.
I felt like we watched it every once in a while.
I think we did just.
It was on cartoons.
What are you,
Just to
what are you
kinda-
watching down there?
We had our share of dumb rules.
Looney Tunes.
Maybe we'll go over that sometime.
sounds like Power Rangers. Nope, it's not. Power
I don't think you
Rangers.
even know what Power Ranger sounds like, Mom. That's what I would say.
Are you down here? Are you watching what I'm watching? So you don't know.
Boom.
There you have it.
Got her.
And also we have Race Your Mouse Around the Icons Day.
Oh, on the phone.
Oh,
Yeah, we do that a lot. Our Joe's on the computer a lot. I'm on the computer a lot. Dad's on the computer a lot with our
I think we all
jobs.
are. I think
Yeah.
that's
But
kind of the day history
what
today.
is that? What is that? I mean, I don't get that. That's above beyond me. Why would you race it? What?
Why
I
would
don't
it
know,
become?
that's
Why would it become a
would you have
day?
to make a day?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's more my question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems like we're just making days these
Do
days.
they have time trials and records?
I'm
for
sure they
the
probably do.
fastest
My guess would be
cursor
is they
around?
do.
You don't. I don't think you get a day if there's not stuff like that going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
I feel like I'm being talked down to about.
Well, you're not being you're being talked up to.
Yeah. We're on the couch. We're down
Yeah.
here on the couch. You're up there on the high seat. Yep.
I'm king.
Sure. Yeah. So we started with the end of the Roman Empire, and I feel like this is the end of the American Empire with Race Your Mouse Around the Icons Day. We started having
Don't worry
those-
about that. We're in
yeah.
trouble.
The start of it.
Yeah.
Start of the end. The beginning of the end.
Beginning of
the
the
end
end.
of the beginning.
Yep.
No. Beginning
No,
of
Where
the
is
end.
everybody?
end.
We're trying to conquer this place. Well, they're racing their mouses around the icons.
Yeah. So there you have it.
That is episode 22,
Whether you like it or not.
whether you liked it or not. And if you did like it, you could probably like it.
Like the video.
Like the video. Yep.
We had
Yeah. Don't secretly like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had Todd's tips again
Toddy's tips.
that I plod.
You're a plotter.
And
you
then
do
we-
plod.
Yeah, and then we had
Numbers?
Scott Moore, which
Oh,
is
yep.
we had the numbers. Yeah,
early
the
numbers.
VO Marketing Pro numbers.
We talked about the 3 B's, correct?
Yeah, remember what they were?
Of email marketing. Don't
That's a
don't
D.
That's a D.
bugging people
Bug.
and don't be
don't bug
bashful.
Bashful.
Be bold.
Be
When you
bold.
market. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had Scott Moore. Thank you so much for coming on
Yeah.
and being with us.
Thank you, Scott. This is wonderful to have
Yep.
you.
And then we had this.
And we had this. What is this?
What is this?
I don't know.
This mess.
this mess?
This?
Nobody's watching.
What is this?
Yes.
Thank you for watching the original Father Son Voiceover podcast and taking the time, if you made it this far, to watch us have a little fun together. So next week is episode 23. That'll be our Jordan episode.
The Jordan episode, yeah.
Wear that uniform.
I'm going to.
Oh, nice. Victor's.
Uniform. So
I'll wear a shirt underneath.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, please.
that'll be it from us. So thank you and enjoy your week. Are you dying to see more content like that? Check out the video over here or subscribe over here. Thanks.